Hey guys, thanks for coming in on another episode of the Empirical Miracle channel. I'm your host, Empirical Miracle, and today we're going to be talking about paranormal activity and astrology. And good thing we have my guest with us. He's more of the expert. He'll say he's not an expert, but he's definitely more of an expert than me. I met him through the 1A stuff. He's a huge supporter in the 1A community, and a lot of people really are that are like the spiritual stuff too. So we'll bring to you Nick Johnson. What up, dude?
Hey guys, nice to meet you.
So we'll just kind of kick it up here, wait till some more peeps come in before we start chopping it up. But we got Fake Mike Real News in the house. What up? Do you know Fake Mike Real News?
I don't.
Oh yeah, he's an activist too.
Okay.
It's called Fake Mike Real News because he like used to have like this whisk. It was like a fake mic. They would like interview people with it and stuff. But you know Adam Kokesh?
Yeah, I've heard a little bit of his stuff.
He's got a big channel. He used to, but he's interviewed him. He's interviewed all kinds of big names, dude. Yeah, I don't know how Fake Mike you get all these people to come up on your show, dude. You got some connects. So, but yeah. So I guess we'll talk a little bit about some paranormal stuff. So, do you have any like stories that you want to talk about? Like you talk about paranormal activities or experiences?
Yeah, that's a good topic to start on. Before I ever experienced anything paranormal, I was just fascinated by it. Didn't really think it was real. Kind of like UFOs. Like that's a fascination, but even now, I'm still kind of on the fence about how real they really are. But with paranormal stuff, once I finally experienced what I did, like there's just no denying it at that point. Like something's definitely there at times.
Well, what did you experience?
So this happened back in it was about the end of 2004. I would have been like 22 years old at the time. I was just hanging out with my girlfriend, watching movies, kick back on the couch, and out of nowhere, this box spring mattress that had been propped up in the hallway for probably a month. It didn't fall over, bro. It slammed over. This entire box spring slammed over and scared the crap out of me. It wasn't like a gust of wind came through and knocked it over. Like I tried to reproduce it, like pushing it over and slamming it into the wall, but I was only getting like 10 to 20% as hard as I needed to in order to simulate it. And I was going to end up putting a hole in the wall if I slammed it any harder. So I still don't know how it happened without a hole even being put in the wall.
Wow. So, what do you think that was?
A lot of people that came to her apartment, she had an old apartment. It was built in the 50s or 60s, just totally out of brick. And some stuff just goes down there. It's on a badder part of town where, stuff happens. And I think someone possibly died in that house or, it's hard to say, but other people experience stuff there too. When friends would come over, like my buddy was like, "Hey Nick, you can go in the bathroom." And then a second later I'd walk out of the bedroom and he's like, "Whoa, dude, I thought you were just standing outside the bathroom." So like there's other people that came over and definitely experienced stuff too. So
Interesting. What do you think? Like, let's say it's a ghost or whatever, for lack of a better term, spirit. What do you think the reason is why they're, haven't crossed over?
it's hard to say. I felt I was experiencing it as a message, almost like something divine was trying to tell me to be careful with this girl, like this girlfriend of mine later became my fiance and then my wife, who I was married to for like 17 years. And it was a wild roller coaster for sure. And so I feel like it could have been some divine warning to a degree.
Right. So it could maybe not necessarily be an actual spirit, right, or a soul that's stuck in between dimensions, but it could just be like from the universe, source,
Mhm.
God, whatever you want to call it, specifically, or an angel or a spirit guide or something like that, right?
Right.
Yeah, dude, I literally had just the other day, like last week, I was sitting on the couch. I think I was just watching TV or something, and I felt somebody pushed my back, like they touched me, like went like that, and it was really hard. And I was like, "What the heck?" And I don't know what the heck that was. That was the first time I'd ever in my entire life experienced anything like that, paranormal type stuff. And it's crazy.
Mhm.
It just happened, right? And now we're talking about it, right? I wouldn't have a story to tell otherwise. But
Right.
as I told you, I'm going right now through my second spiritual awakening. So I had my first one in like 2019, or I went through Dark Night of the Soul. And then now I'm having my second one. And I feel like my intuition is like it's on fire right now, right? And my manifestation skills are on fire right now. And that's how it was
Mhm.
when I went through my first spiritual awakening, is I
Mhm.
can manifest very quickly. So you have to be very careful on like what you're thinking about, right? And your energy and what frequency you're vibrating on, because you can manifest bad things too. And
Yeah.
so just the fact that, like I said, I literally, that just happened like last week. And then now all of a sudden we're talking about paranormal stuff. And I didn't even remember it. I just literally thought of it right now. So more manifestation, you know what I mean?
Right.
So you have all kinds of like, you look like totally like you're about to bust out some tarot, bro, and like read my tarot cards or something.
It's funny you mentioned that. I've actually got tarot cards. I didn't pull them out, but
Oh, really, dude? And I do too. And I was gonna I'm gonna grab, hold on, talk to the chat, dude, in here. I'll be back in like 30 seconds.
I will. Let me see if I can find the chat again. Greetings and blessings to all from Wade. Thanks, Wade. Thanks for joining this tiny little podcast stream. I think it's going to be fun. I think Chris and I are going to dive into some cool topics. And, I chatted with him for like an hour and a half the other night on the phone, and we dived down some really cool subjects. So Chris definitely is a fun guy to talk to, and it's easy to talk to him. So
Thanks, man.
yeah.
You too, bro, for sure. So, and I like, aligning with, people that have, and that's how you have friends, right? I mean, you
Mhm.
guys have similar interests, or, you're vibrating on the same frequency. And so that's who you choose to be friends with. And, you know, like I've said before, like on the DMA channel and stuff, that discrimination by itself isn't inherently bad, right? It's like people talk about toxic masculinity. Well, toxic masculinity, like masculinity in itself isn't toxic, right? But it can be. So same thing with like discrimination. Slightly off topic here, but you have similar interests, and so you choose to align with that person and be their friend. And then others who you don't have similar interests with, you discriminate against them, right? And you decide, I'm not going to be friends with you.
Mhm.
But and another thing too is like, if you notice, because not everyone can go with you on your entire journey, right? In fact, no
Right.
one does, even your wife and your kids. Like, marriages end, right? 100% of the time, whether it's in a divorce or somebody dies, it's going to end. So no one goes with you on your entire journey. And
Mhm.
so when you start vibrating on a different frequency, those people just fall off, right? And like all of a sudden you don't talk to them anymore. That's literally the reason, is because you guys aren't vibrating on the same frequency anymore. So you kind of wander apart.
Yeah,
But I got these.
or like I was gonna say, the cycle or the season just played its course, and astrologically, when we start talking about astrology here soon, that applies to the timing of things when those things occur.
Right. Like, let's, you're my soulmate, and we the lesson was learned, right? I learned the lesson I was supposed to learn, you learned the lesson you were supposed to learn, or maybe you didn't learn the lesson, but it was at least you took the class, right?
Mhm.
And so that cycle is over, and then that's another reason why too, that you can move on to. And I've said before that the meaning of life, there's two different ones. There's the physical meaning, which is to survive and replicate. Oh, dude, and you're wearing the shirt from the thumbnail, dude. That was a badass shirt.
Right. Dude, I get more compliments on this shirt when I go out than almost any shirt I wear.
Yeah, dude, it's hilarious, dude. I was like, dude, that's perfect for this show too. But I was saying how what were we just talking about?
You're asking a guy with ADD that's always present in the moment. Like, I will totally forget about the past and the future just so I can
Yeah.
be right now. And
Oh, I got bad ADD. No, we were talking about the meaning of life. So
yeah.
the physical meaning of life is to survive and replicate.
Mhm.
But the spiritual meaning is to learn lessons, right? And one of the main lessons that we're supposed to learn here on earth is is how to create, right? How to manifest. But Earth is a school, right? And so, like you were saying that in one of my other panels on the Christopher Cordova channel, I think that Earth is really hard. It's difficult, and it is because it's one of the hardest dimensions. It's the hardest planet that you can incarnate on, and people, souls, when people decide to incarnate on Earth, apparently they're looked up to. Like, wow, it's a really brave thing for you to do, because you can incarnate on a lot of different planets and dimensions that are much easier than Earth, right? But just like I said, remember I said that I'm going through Dark Night of the Soul, right? Which is, it's rough to go through that, and that's my spiritual awakening. But see, all of the growth happens during the bad times, right? So that's what pushes you to grow. And it's with life, with anything, right? You always grow. If you get comfortable and complacent, that's like dream killers. You know what I mean? So, like if you live in an apartment and it's okay, right? It's like not that great, but it's livable and all that. Like you'll be comfortable with that, and then next thing you know, you get complacent and comfortable, and you never grow, right? But like let's say if it's really bad, like there's roaches and black mold, and right, like you're bad neighborhood, like it might get so uncomfortable that you're like, oh man, you're actually better off that way, because now you're going to grow. Like I got to get out of here, man, figure something out and do something else, right? So the growth happens during the bad times. And so the only problem, like, well, the reason why people choose to incarnate here on Earth is because there's so much more growth available, right? So on these other planets where it is easier and it's it's more pleasant, there's less duality. It's just the spiritual growth is so slow. So people want to just come to Earth so that they can just get all their karma over with, right, and be done with it. And once you choose to come to Earth, like you can't get out of it. And like it's a school, and you can't go from kindergarten to college. You have to go through each grade, right? So like we're talking about lessons, like we close the cycle out, and that's why that person's not in your life anymore. Well, if you didn't learn the lesson from that person, and I'm sure you've probably, I'll let you speak on this too, because I'm sure it's the same for you. You will get another person in your life that's like the same. It's like the same stuff, right? And it's like it's because you didn't learn the lesson. So now God is putting this in other individuals. So you can keep learning the lesson. And if you don't learn the lesson, like if you don't learn the lesson, then it's like I say, it's like taking summer school now, right? Because now you got to learn again, right? But if you end up dying and you didn't learn the lesson, well, now you have to repeat the grade. It's not summer school. So now you got to come back down here and start all over, the new body, new family, and all that. And there's no judgment when you die and you go do your life review and all that. If you didn't learn the lesson, there's no judgment. You can come as many times as you need to. So it's all love when on the other side. But yeah, do you have any stories about stuff like that? Like not learning the lesson is like the same thing over and over.
Dude, the stuff you're talking about just reminds me of almost everything I've heard from Abraham Hicks and Dolores Cannon.
Yeah, two of the people that I watch a lot. That's where I got a lot of that from Dolores Cannon.
Yeah.
Abraham Hicks is awesome too. She's awesome, dude. I love her.
Yeah, they're both pretty good.
I didn't know who my old barber. She was cutting my hair for years, and she was a spiritual person too. I didn't even know that. And she was talking about Abraham Hicks, and I was like, oh, cool. I'll have to check him out. I didn't even know it was a chick. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I do that a lot, actually. So
there we go, book right there.
oh, the Law of Attraction. Is that Abraham Hicks?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, dude. The first time I ever got introduced to the Law of Attraction was I read The Secret, and I read it in jail. Actually, it was a Arapahoe County jail, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And it took a while, like years, for me because I'll forget about it, to really start implementing it. But it's definitely, like I even said, the Law of Attraction right now, where I was literally just I had the paranormal thing happen to me, right? And now all of a sudden we're talking about that. But these are my tarot cards. So this one's my favorite deck. I don't know if you've seen this one. It's the Alice in Wonderland one. This one's cool, dude. They got like
the thing looks huge too.
Well, it's like a big book. It's got like a book, so you can kind of
okay.
You can like read, and like it tells you what the cards mean. Because I mean I know some stuff from just watching tarot card readings, but I don't know like all the cards, But the illustrations on these cards are freaking awesome, dude. So we got the tower. So they're really cool. And this one here, I've been going through some tower moments, right? Because that's what happens when you go through Dark Night of the Souls, and, you know, a lot of tower moments. But then you also have good times that come along, right? We got the sun card here. So um, the sunshine always comes out after the rain, right? And so every day should be a celebration of life, but sometimes you know it's difficult. So Queen of Pentacles, these are some good cards here. So I'm just showing you the illustrations, but um, Queen of Pentacles, you know, money. Let's see what else we got. Let's go through a couple more ones. See, like it's got like the rabbit and like the Mad Hatter dude, and like the illustrations are cool, and I like it a lot sometimes just from watching, just looking at the illustration, you know. So we got the Queen of Swords here. So see how she's like very, you know, kind of domineering, you know what I mean? And that's kind of like the energy of the Queen of Swords, you know what I mean? It can be also like a, you know, a bad energy too, you know what I mean? Like a toxic energy, but
Right.
very sharp with the tongue, you know what I mean? You can tell she's like not ready to, she's not going to take no shit. Like this is sweet tea right here in a nutshell, guys. So yeah, so that's that deck. What decks you said you have decks? What kind of decks do you have?
I've got a couple. Let me run and grab them. Give me 2
Yeah,
seconds.
sure. Yeah, I'll talk to the chat. So we got that one. Let's see what else we got. I wanted to say hi to a couple people. So we got Q the Audit in here. What's up? Oh, and I saw Wade in here. What's up, guys? Thanks for coming in. But then these are like this is like the traditional Rider Waite deck. And you guys might have seen these ones. And I got another deck too, but I think this is the traditional Rider Waite. So like these ones are like, let's see, these are kind of like the classics.
Yeah.
Three of Cups. Oh yeah, it's the same deck. Yeah, so it's the Rider Waite, right?
Yep.
Rider Waite. Yeah, so like, you know, Three of Cups, it's a party celebration, could also symbolize you know, like third party, like, you know, your girlfriend's cheating on you and stuff. The Essential Tarot.
Yeah.
Let's see.
You know, I like the art on yours better. Like these are kind of plain.
Oh, let me see what you got. What are you working with?
Well, let's see. What we're gonna look at. I want to show you something cool. I'm trying to find one of the cool ones in here. Oh, it's like the Ace of Pentacles.
Let me see. Oh yeah, that's cool. Oh, so that's not the traditional Rider Waite then.
No. This is the Essential Tarot deck.
Oh, okay.
The other one.
What is that? Which one's that?
That one's the Ace of Cups.
Oh, that's Ace of Cups. Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, now it's a cup. She's holding the cup.
Right. The Hierophant.
Nice.
But they're okay. I like your art better.
That one's cool. I mean, this one, like the Rider Waite, it's kind of just like traditional, you know? So they're not really. And see, this is my other Rider Waite one. I have two of them, but these ones are like, they're smaller. And I think they're like less colorful too. I think it's the exact same. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same. I had two different of the Rider Waites. But then I also got this one too, real quick, and then we'll jump out of the tarot stuff because we both don't know how to read tarot. I don't think, right? Do you know?
No, I haven't dabbled too much with tarot. I barely like dipped my toes in.
But I have this one too, and this one's not an actual traditional like tarot card. I don't even think these are tarot cards, dude. It's called playing cards. The which is called Anna Cortez. So it's a little bit different, and there's like a bunch of different ones in here. I haven't even, or it's a CJ Freeman. See, it's like, I don't even know what that means. Maybe it is actually, these are tarot cards. They're called something different. Maybe that's what this is. I haven't even really looked at these too much because I was like, wait, these aren't tarot cards. But maybe they are. Yeah, because look, this is I think that's Six of Hearts then, I think, right? Anyways, now I got to just check out a couple. See, I don't know what this means. 12. Like, I don't know, like what that would be.
Right.
And you know, bro, we were talking about law of attraction and how I'm manifesting at a very high rate right now.
Mm-hmm.
This person, see the name on that? It says Deja.
Mm-hmm.
I got a text from her mom like 2 days ago saying that she passed away in a car accident. So the fact that I just pulled that card out right there is just more confirmation that I'm manifesting at like an extreme high rate. You know, it's crazy, dude.
Right.
So, I put this one over here. So let's talk about a little bit about, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk astrology. So tell me how you like started getting into it and your experiences and stuff like that. Go ahead.
Right. Okay. Sure. So, growing up as a kid, there's the only real thing anyone really knew about astrology was, what they print in the newspaper for horoscopes. So if you knew your sun sign, you could look up yours and you could look up all your friends, and it was kind of fun and playful. And sometimes it sounded accurate, but it was always so vague. It had to apply to in a really weird way. So I didn't really like it at first. I thought it was really corny and just didn't seem very accurate. I'm like, this is just dumb fun stuff, whatever. But then what was it, about 2003? So I just turned 21, moved out of state to live with my grandparents out in Oregon. And while I was out there, I just began dabbling with more and more stuff, got into Christianity, got into astrology, numerology, started skateboarding more, trying to be a real skater instead of a poser. Snowboarded a ton. But as far as the astrology goes, I got a book. Let's see if I can pull it out here. I saw this book at a bookstore. It was like 70% off or something because they were shutting down. I was just like 3 books for $20 or something. I just rolled in there and made out like a bandit with 3 of the most badass books I ever bought. So, and then of course, being the obsessive person I am, I just had to dive in and read the entire book basically, and just know what little gems lied inside of it. And I guess from that point on, I kind of didn't mess around with astrology too much besides that one book for about 8 or 9 years. So from like 03 to 2011, I kind of pulled back from astrology. I was mostly just, I got married in that time period, became a father, was still busy with other things in my life as far as skateboarding, snowboarding. So astrology wasn't really on my radar that much. But then in 2011, I just for some reason thought I was like, I want to get back into astrology. So I went down to the local public library, looked up every astrology book they carried in the library, which was like 4. And I just rented all of them and, just read the heck out of them and just really got more passionate with astrology, and then started listening to podcasts, which I
Sorry, guys, we had a technical difficulty here. Nick's frozen, but he might have dropped out. I don't know if it's a bad internet connection or what, because we seem to still be live. So we will just wait. I'll keep you guys company for now. But don't go anywhere. I'd give me like 20 seconds. That's all I need. Sorry, guys. I'm not very organized here, but I had mine too. My book is just kind of long. My sister gave this to me, astrology book. So, oh, here he is. Okay, hold on. Let's add him back up here. Let's see. Bam! Now we got 2 of you and 1 of me. What happened? Let's see. Kick from studio. Oh, now you're frozen on that one.
Oh, okay. That's weird. I'm not sure how that happened.
Now you're good. Okay.
Cool.
All right. So continue.
So basically, what part did it drop out at when I was talking about my friend that I met?
Yeah.
Okay. So I finally got met with my friend that does astrology readings and whatnot. And basically started going to astrology meetup groups every month. So anybody interested in astrology can come and join, which they're small groups, like 4 to 12 people usually. Yeah, I mean, besides my obsession with all the podcasts I listen to, because like I said, when I dive into something, I want to know everything. I just don't want to know a little bit of it. So I've been down a rabbit hole of probably 20,000 hours, I would guess, if I had to just throw a number out there. And anything else you want to know about?
Sorry, I was like talking, but I had my mic off. I do that all the time.
I
But
noticed.
your wife though, is she into astrology too?
So yeah, I'm not married anymore. But when I was married, she wasn't really into it too much.
But you're remarried, right?
I'm not remarried. Yeah, I'm single now.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought you had a girlfriend.
I do have a girlfriend.
Oh, okay. So you're
So
not
she'll be happy to hear me
you're not
admit
married.
it.
Yeah, okay. But is your current girlfriend, is she into astrology and stuff?
She loves it. Yeah, she's into astrology.
Yeah, because I was reading her birthday, I think, and my book,
Yes,
right?
yes. Hers is the February 26th, 81.
Okay, so yeah, so that's right at oh no, that's right after Aquarius, whatever, Taurus.
Yeah, she's a Pisces.
Oh, Pisces. Yeah, Pisces is the next one. Yeah. Okay. So, because when I first started, I liked, reading horoscopes, same kind of thing. I thought it was fun, but
Mm-hmm.
somebody told me, they're like, hey, you know what? I don't believe in those because, you can take somebody's sign and then you can look at it and then you'd be like, oh yeah, these are traits, right? But you
Mm-hmm.
can't take the person and take their traits and then match it to a horoscope, right? Or to an astrology sign. But the thing is that you learn, because when I first started, a lot of people in here might not know this either, but you think, oh yeah, it's my birthday. I was born on this day. That's what sign I am. I'm a Sagittarius, but there's several placements, right? All the planets, right? So you have lots of different areas. You have your moon sign, you got your rising, you got your Venus, all the planets, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what are the other signs? Like, what do they mean?
So obviously, the chart can consist of as little or as much as you want to look at. You can make it as complicated or as simple as you want. Like I said, some people just want to look at the basics: sun, moon, rising. That'll give you a lot of information about someone. But maybe you want to know more. Maybe you want to throw in some asteroids. I mean, you want to look at everything that's out in the sky. There's always something out there.
Right.
And some people want to say, like, hey, I'm a Taurus or I'm a Scorpio, and sure, maybe you are. Maybe you have a sun or moon or rising in those signs, and that embodies a big part of who you are. But really, you're the whole chart, and it just expresses itself in different ways depending on, obviously, what your rising sign is, what signs the other planets are in. Some signs, some planets do better, some signs the planets do worse.
So what is, like, can you explain to everyone, like, people say, oh, well, I'm a Sagittarius because I was born in December or whatever.
Mhm.
What is the difference then between all these signs, like your sun and your moon and your rising? What does that mean?
Right. So each planet, and we call the sun and moon planets, even though obviously we know the sun is not a planet, the moon is not a planet, but just for simplicity's sake in astrology, we refer to them as planets. They express a certain area of your life. And so, like, the moon is more focused on your emotion, whereas the sun may be more focused on the way you're shining in the world. Whereas, your rising sign could be more of the way you feel like you're portraying yourself.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'm taking notes, dude. So,
For sure.
but I did know that the rising is kind of like the way the world perceives you, right? And
It,
then what did you say sun was?
you're going to quote me on it, and then I'm going to feel like I should have known it. But
Because I never, I mean, I thought the sun, your birthday is kind of just like your overall energy, you know what I mean?
mhm.
But yeah, like the moon is more, like you said, it's emotion. And a lot of times people resonate with their moon sign more, especially when it comes to relationships, because it is part of, emotion,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, and children will resonate more with their moon sign usually the first 7 or 8 years of their life. So you don't
Okay.
really see what their sun sign is until they develop it.
And that's an interesting point because so children are going to resonate with their moon sign more because your moon sign is more emotional, right?
Hmm.
And children, it takes them till they're about like seven or so before they even start developing a logical side to them, right?
Hmm.
So they do. Their children are much more in their feminine energy, and thinking, logically and or I'm sorry, emotionally. And children will also always be in the present moment too, right? Because they're actually not smart enough to really their prefrontal frontal cortex isn't developed enough to like really have thoughts and like know that they're thinking a thought, type of thing, be more conscious of that. They're more just they're in the present moment, just like a dog. Same thing.
Hmm.
Dogs are just always in the present moment. And if for me personally, like I said, that I went through my spiritual awakening and I know that I'm going through my second one now, and I know I'm about to level up here. It might take another year or two, but when I went through my first one after the dark night of the soul, about a year later, I started the DMA channel. And so it was completely life changing. And one of the things that helped me to level up like that was literally shifting the focus of my attention to the present. That's it. That's all I did, man. It's just like meditating, all the day. That's all. It's just it's basically being in like a slightly meditative state the entire day. You're just conscious, you're just aware, you're
Hmm.
observing the fact that you are the observer of your thoughts, right? You're not
Hmm.
your actual thoughts, you're observing the thought. And so
Right.
like people, like children, they're just in the present moment, right? And it was that the samadhi, I think that I told you that he said, the moment that you tell a child what a bird is, he'll never see a bird again. He'll only see his thoughts. And so that's the difference, man, between being in the present moment and being in your thoughts. Because I mean, we think thoughts, I mean, thousands and thousands a day. And like they're most of them, like 99% of your thoughts are completely pointless, right? Like you're thinking about my doctor's appointment or like something that happened 10 years ago, or like, like just going on and on and on over nothing. And, the mind's not a bad thing. It's not good or bad. It just is. But people start associating themselves with their thoughts, like I am my thoughts, right? Like what was his name, the guy that said I think therefore I am, right?
Hmm.
So associating yourself as the thought, but you're really it's I am therefore I am. And so um yeah, man, very interesting that you said that about the children, being more resonating with their moon sign before
Hmm.
their sun.
Yeah.
So
So I can
uh
read to you what it says here about the sun here, just
yeah,
a little
let's read
part.
it.
And this is from a book. It's called "Use Your Planets Wisely" by Jennifer Freed. Book is amazing, amazingly helpful. It says the sun represents the light through which all other parts of us shine. Our sun sign describes our essence, our deepest energies, and their expression in the world. The I am of the astrological birth chart. Try this. Start a sentence with I am and see what wants to flow next. What you answer will probably align in some important way with your sun sign. The sun sign is our most central self and the source of our most fundamental drives and expressions. The astrology sign of our sun sign speaks to one of our greatest karmic challenges. Will we rise to the most evolved the most evolved version of ourselves, or will we let self doubt cast us in the shadows or incite self sabotage?
Interesting, dude. Yeah, that was a good where it said, um, if you think I am, and then the next thought is going to be really resonate with your sun sign. That's true.
Hmm.
It's more of like your ego. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's very interesting, dude. So let's jump into we'll jump into your natal chart real quick, but why don't you tell people how they can find out what their natal chart is?
Sure. So obviously, like it's always nice to be able to pull up a chart, whether it's a natal chart or a chart of the moment, just to see where the transiting planets are in the sky at any moment, and to look back. You may have a date in the past you want to look up. So there's two websites that I recommend, um, each one for different reasons. The first one, I like the I like the colors. I like the way it presents. The other website has way more information, and I don't quite like the way it visually looks, but they're both great resources. So the first one is alabe.com. That's ALABE.com. And then the other website is astroseek.com. But there's a hyphen between astro and seek, so it's astro-seek.com. And on those, if you go to those sites, you'll find part of it where it says free birth chart or free natal chart, and you don't have to pay for it. It's free information, like it should be.
Yeah, and I didn't know about those particular ones. When I look it up, I literally just Google natal chart, and they
Mm-hmm.
have usually a bunch of different ones.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that people need to know? What information do they have to have in order to find out what their natal chart is?
Right. So to get a chart of the moment, you basically need the date and time.
But you still have to have information about yourself, right? Like you have your birthday for the sun.
So your time of birth is going to give your rising sign. So without the time of birth, you're not going to know what your rising sign is. You're not going to have your chart doesn't have any orientation really. It's kind of floating free because you don't have it pinpointed to a specific time. You just have the day, which your rising sign could be anything. So,
and then you have to have your place of birth to get it accurate of all the rest of the planets, right?
Yeah, the place of birth is important. It's not as important, but it could definitely change, depending on where you are on the planet. Like if you and I did charts, between Colorado and Wyoming, there's obviously not a big difference because we're in the same time zone and everything. So,
right. Okay, that makes sense. So let's bring up yours then, I guess. We'll just start with yours first. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, Nick. So I don't know if people see that, but you were saying how incredibly intimate this is, and it's even more intimate than your birthday and your social security number and stuff.
Right. I almost should have given you my social instead and have that. I wouldn't feel as bad. No, it is very sacred information. It's something that is very personal to every one of us. And I mean, someone could take that information and use it against you in some way if they really wanted to.
Right.
But I guess there's some small things you need to know about the wheel and how to read it first. So let's see, where should I start? When you look at the wheel, it's obviously divided up into halves. You got the left half of the wheel, you got the right half of the wheel, you've got the top half, you got the bottom half. And I'd say the
sounds
easiest,
like a quarter to me.
yeah, and then you got them chunked out into quarters too. So there's quadrants and different segments of the chart. And then you can break it down even further to the houses. There's 12 different houses around the chart. But when you're looking at this chart, you got to remember it rotates clockwise. So it's as the day goes on, the chart is going clockwise. Everything you see on it's called the ascendant. And if you look at my chart, you'll see Leo is rising and you have Venus conjunct the ascendant. So at the time of my birth, Venus had just risen just above the horizon. The sun hadn't quite come up yet because you can see the sun is further down below Venus. So it was just before sunrise.
Okay.
But an hour later, the sun rose.
So tell people a little bit about because people know have a little bit of a grasp, you got fire, earth, water, air. What's the difference between all those? What do those mean?
Sure. I've got something I can read here from and this book is called, this is the one of them that I read in Idaho in 2011 that I borrowed from the library. Had to buy my own, but the only astrology book you'll ever need.
It's a bold statement there.
Right. It sells. I think anybody that's interested in astrology comes across this book, they'd be like, that's the one.
Yeah, it's the only one you need.
So obviously the elements are really different from element to element. There's 4 elements: fire, earth, air, and water. When we think of fire signs, we have Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And these signs represent energetic, active, enthusiastic, passionate. There's a need to express oneself, impulsive, takes the initiative, outgoing, and tends to be extroverted. So we're going to see that type of energy in the fire signs. I can just read down the chart here if you want, or down the list between earth, air, and water too.
Yeah, that'd be great because I'm learning stuff too. So keep going.
Yeah. So the earth energies are practical, stable. They're places of importance on security, patient, industrious, strong-willed, able to apply oneself toward long-range goals. And the earth signs in the zodiac are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And something else about the signs I should be mentioning is each sign also contains a different modality. So the fire or the earth or the air or the water, it's going to be expressed in a different way depending on which sign it is. So Aries, for instance, is cardinal energy, whereas Sagittarius is mutable energy and Leo is more fixed energy.
Okay, yeah. So real quick before you move on to the other elements, what does that mean? What is cardinal, fixed? What is that?
Right. So cardinal energies are they're open to change. Their emphasis is on action. They try to change the environment and project yourself into surroundings. So they're the let's get this going kind of energy.
Okay. And you said that Sagittarius is cardinal sign?
Sagittarius is mutable.
It's mutable. Okay.
Yep. Whereas mutable means what it, you kind of got that idea that it's changeable and flexible, mentally explorative. There's emphasis on intellectual activity, and it's adaptable to the environment. So mutable energy is great, but it's obviously not stable. It's not fixed. It's very changeable. Whereas fixed energy is resistant to change. It's single-minded in pursuits. It's not easily swayed, and it tries to mold the environment to the will.
Okay. So it can be so fixed is extremely stubborn energy, right? Like you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and they're stuck in their ways, digging their heels in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So um, I have, because I'm Sagittarius in my sun, so I am very like mutable, kind of go with the flow and
Mm-hmm.
type of energy. But then I also have my moon sign is I'm Taurus, which is fixed energy, right? And Tauruses are known for being very stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that too, like the grounded type of energy as well. And like earth energy is usually very goal oriented and like successful, like especially Capricorns. They're known,
Mm-hmm.
like you look at a lot of like CEOs and stuff, very successful people. A lot of them are Capricorns.
Mm-hmm.
Because and it can be good though, like everything in moderation, but sometimes these Capricorns are known to like be so successful, but they neglect every other aspect of their life, right? So that's how they're so successful. So it has to be a balance about stuff like that. But Sweet Tea, she's a Leo sun, and so we're both fire as far as our sun sign goes, which is good. I mean, Leos and Sagittarius get along well. I mean, two fire signs, you can either feed the flame or it can kind of like distinguish it a little bit too. But also, she's fixed sign, so she's very stubborn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I am also my Taurus though, and my moon sign is fixed, so it's like two fixed signs. And then also on top of that, she's a double Leo. She's a Leo moon, so she's like extreme stubborn, and she's probably the most stubborn person that I've ever met. And it's frustrating sometimes, you pull your hair out. But I'm not saying that I'm not stubborn. I know I'm stubborn too. So that's we do kind of like butt heads a lot because of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So and a lot of times people don't think of this, you know what I mean? Like, oh, we just don't get along sometimes or whatever. But maybe there's more of a meaning to it. And when you put this stuff together, because actually, who Rich Lopp is?
Mm-hmm.
He's he's a tarot card reader, but more than that, he's got a big channel on YouTube. He's like a law of attraction expert. And a lot of his readings won't really even resonate with me, but I always get something out of it because he just gives good advice. And he ended up having a special on personal reading. So I got a personal reading from him, and he was talking about. That's where I learned that. Oh, she's a double Leo, sun and moon. So, and then you're Taurus moon. So, that's going to be too much fixed energy, right? So you guys are neither you are budging type of thing, right? So,
right. Yeah, being stubborn has its advantages. I mean, some people want to look at it as a negative trait, but a First Amendment auditor with some stubbornness is gonna, not be a pushover.
That's true. And, I think that a lot of auditors are probably fire energy too. You know what I mean? Because it's that very passionate, fiery kind of raw energy, right? And I have a lot of fire in my chart. But so tell people a little bit about like which signs go together, which ones you're gonna, get along with better.
Right. So when you go through the zodiac, it obviously begins with Aries, and you go through the chart. You got Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. And each sign is vastly different than the sign before and after. Obviously, when you look at Aries, you have cardinal fire, and then you move on to fixed earth with Taurus. And then after that, you move on to mutable air with Gemini. And then you move on to cardinal water with Cancer. And, so each sign is vastly different. The ones that are obviously going to go together are ones like water and earth, for example. And when you think of how dirt and water kind of go together in nice ways, the earth needs the water and the water needs the dirt in the same way. Same with fire and air. Those signs are going to help each other out and reciprocate or resonate with each other.
Right. Yeah. Because what I've noticed with like air signs with me is, fire and air, you have to have oxygen, you have to have air for a flame to even exist. Right. So, but again, everything is duality though, too. Right. So it's not always right. So that a fire and air sign, the air could fuel the fire. Right. But it could also distinguish it. Right. If it's too much. Right. So, but yeah, obviously like fire and water don't mix, right? You can have a fire with water around, stuff like that. So, and then, so earth, you said earth and water are really good mix. And then I know fire and air is good, but then also like water and water is good too, like the same element, right?
Yes. That also, there's some, what's the word I'm looking for? Synergy. There's definitely synergy between the water signs. Water is the emotions, and we didn't quite get to the water on here yet, but
go ahead, you get into the water then next.
Yeah, I'll do water and then I'll do air next. So water is the emotional, the intuitive. They're sensitive to surroundings and to other people. There's creativity there, good powers of imagination. They're empathetic, and they're a person of hidden depths. Those are the signs of Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. And then the air signs you have.
Hold on real quick before you go to that. So the water signs, that's more of a feminine energy, right?
Let me remember. Yes. When you think of the zodiac chart, you have Pisces up there, and then across from Pisces you have Virgo. So across from every water sign is an earth sign, and across from every fire sign is an air sign.
Okay. And just so you guys know too, it's, like some people might be, a lot of my audience, it's 90% men. They'd be like, oh, wait, I'm a Scorpio. It's not feminine energy, right? Like, but here's the thing, guys. It's like, so energy is different than gender, right? It's not gender specific. So everyone, I don't care if you're the most masculine guy ever, dude, like you still embody feminine energy, right? We all do. And it's actually a good thing. It's healthy to have a good balance of that. So, and that's another thing too, that like, I think we were talking about on the Christopher Cordova channel, like you were in the chat about transgender, and people confuse gender with energy, right? So it's not that you're a man trapped in a woman's body. It's just that, you're a man, or you're a woman, but you embody more masculine energy. You know what I mean? That's what it is too. And I think we're talking about that too, real quick before we get too off track, but I just wanted to, before I forget, I think that's another reason too why people can become, transgender or gay, is because maybe they incarnated too many times as a man. You know what I mean? Too many times in a row, because you have to incarnate in both. Sometimes people say, "Oh, what are you talking about? I've always been a man. I've been a man for all my lives," right? But that's
Mm-hmm.
not true. I mean, how could you learn all of the lessons you need to learn if Earth is a school if you're only a man, right? So yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
incarnate on all of those. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, you had me instantly thinking about the left brain and right brain. And when you use more, like, let's say visually, let's say you have better vision in one eye or the other, that's going to determine whether you're more masculine or feminine. Just that one little piece alone plays a huge part in how you express yourself. And I figured this out because, I consider myself probably a more feminine guy than most guys are. I have less masculinity than probably most guys. I feel a little more compassion and empathy, and I'm more in touch with my emotions, I guess, than a lot of guys are probably. Um, but visually, I have a lazy eye. I mean, you probably can't tell. I'm wearing glasses, but my left eye is not nearly as strong as my right eye. And my oldest child, was actually born without vision in one of their eyes, which is their right eye. And later on in life, as a teenager, that child became trans and said that they no longer wanted to be identified as female or using those pronouns, she and her. Now they prefer the more either neutral or masculine pronouns. So the fact that their vision is stronger in their left eye, more masculine. So I don't know. It was kind of interesting that correlation kind of came up.
I didn't know that about the vision thing, dude. That's very interesting, man. Huh. Okay. Cool. Well, thanks for that. So in that last one, we're working with air.
Air, yes, which we were just doing, communicating. Air is all about your thoughts, your intelligence, how you communicate. Air signs, they like to deal on a mental plane, quickly grasp ideas, and they can speak or write effectively and takes a rational viewpoint. So they're obviously not in touch with their emotions and their intuition. They're more up in the clouds, so to speak. And those are the signs of Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius.
So, which is the do you know what the dominant element is for each element of the three?
So maybe I'm not understanding your question.
So, fire, Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. Is there a dominant of those three
Oh,
particular?
like one that's like the king of fire or something?
Right.
Or
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's anything to it, but in the astrology world, you got people that will say like one sign is better than the other. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, therefore it's the best sign. Aries rules the head, that's the top of the body. Without Aries, so maybe it's Aries, but maybe it's Leo because Leo is royalty and the king, and it's all about the heart, and maybe that's where it's at. So
Well, I mean, Sweet Tea's in here, and I just wanted to let you know that Sagittarius is the king of the fire signs, okay? Not Leo's. And oh, she says Leo is. And I know you just got in here, Sweet Tea. I hope you rewatch this because we were talking about you earlier. So, um, but don't worry. Like I'm gonna edit out the parts before when I make this go live. I'm gonna edit the bad stuff I was talking about you. But okay. So let's see what else, man. What else we got? Oh, so I think I just give my opinion just based on, my experience as far as the fire signs go. And some of it kind of correlates to tarot too, though, right?
mhm,
But I think, and there actually is, you can watch videos on it and they will
yeah,
say which one is the most dominant one. But I was thinking maybe Aries would be the most dominant. I think actually Leo might be, but I think Aries, because Aries is the Emperor card, right?
mm,
Which
I'm
is
not
the most
sure.
powerful masculine energy in all the deck. It's all four kings put together. So, and then I think also, and just from knowing Aries myself, sorry guys, my dogs, I actually love it when they play because like that's why I got mini so that they can play together because I feel bad if I can't pay attention to them. But this
Right.
happens a lot. Like, they just sit on the couch the whole day and I'm trying to edit videos and then they'll just stare at me like, are we gonna play? Are we gonna go to the park or whatever? And then like when I'm trying to like do a live stream now, they're like playing.
Of course.
But I think as far as air signs go, I think Gemini might be the top one from my experience.
Mm. Do you want me to pick one? Is that what I'm supposed to do?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Just what are your thoughts on that? On two
You
that
know, every sign is the best sign, honestly. Like they really are. Like each one of them is the worst, and each one of them is the best. Like the qualities that, Aries embodies are both good and bad. And that's why I kind of hate astrology when someone like wants to have their chart read or something, and like, is that good or is that bad? And it's like, well, it's not, it's neither. It's kind of however you want to interpret it, really.
that's the thing. Not everything. Just we perceive things as good and bad because we live in a world of duality. But
Mm-hmm.
in reality, it's not good or bad. It just is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like even like horrendous things that happen that people say, "Oh, that's bad." Like in the spiritual world, it's not really bad. It just is, right? Like
Right.
the reason we have duality, we have good and bad, is because you have to experience both of those, and you wouldn't be able to even know what good was unless there was bad, right? So
Exactly.
that's why we have duality. So, you know, if you were hot your entire life, you were always hot, how would you know that you were hot, right? You would never know that you were hot until you were cold. And then you'd be like, oh, now I know what hot is. I'm cold now, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then you can go back to being hot. That's, like I'm not a Christian either. I was raised Catholic, but there's lots of good stuff in the Bible. And it says in the Bible, God is love, right? And the opposite of love is fear. So what we are, the souls, is we're just God experiencing himself, right? So God didn't know that he was love until he could experience the opposite, experience fear. That's why we have duality. So we all are God, right? So source, God, Allah, whatever you want to call it, the universe, it's all the same thing. But we are essentially we're God experiencing himself, right?
Right.
Through our own individual experience. So like if my body is God, right? I have all my fingers here, right? Like all the different souls, right? They're all having their individual experience, but they're still part of the same God, right? So like if God is the ocean, then all the souls are the waves in the ocean having their own independent experience. But then let's see, for Earth, I would have to say Capricorn. I'm thinking would be like the top dog in a Capricorn. What do you think?
Right. You got the goat. It's always going to make it to the top of the mountain.
Right.
Probably go with Capricorn.
And then water. I'm not really too much familiar with water too much, but I was thinking probably Scorpio.
Probably.
Yeah. They're like the most. I mean, do you think like, if water signs are emotional, then maybe
Mm-hmm.
Scorpio would be the most emotional of those, right?
Right.
It's the
Right.
same
And Scorpio's, the one that's going to be the most vengeful and the most. It's Scorpio has a bad reputation for being, the sign that you don't fuck someone over that's a Scorpio, because you're gonna regret it.
Right. And Scorpios are almost kind of like fiery in that way too, though. Like they're very emotional, but they can be, like almost like a fire sign, like very
Mm-hmm.
passionate, very kind of like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You notice that
Mm-hmm.
about the Scorpio sign?
Yeah,
Uh,
I carry Scorpio energy in my chart, so I understand Scorpio a
do
little
you?
bit.
Okay. Let's throw my chart up here real quick, and then so, since Sweet Tea is in the chat, I'll ask her. I did, and because you made me feel bad because you're like, this is the most intimate thing. It's more intimate than a social security number. So I did pull Sweet Tea's chart, and it doesn't have your birthday or where you were born or anything on that. It just has your elements. Are you okay with me throwing that up there just to compare between you and me? But mine, let's see. So I have my first one. So this is my chart here. So Sun Sagittarius and then Moon Taurus, like I said. And see, I don't really know a lot of these. The main ones that I know is Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. So we got Venus here. And like you said, you kind of explained like what the sun is, if you were to say I am, and the next thought that you thought of would be kind of like correlating with your sun sign.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the moon, which is more of your emotional side, right?
Yeah.
And then Venus here is more for love. It's like how you receive love and how you express love. So double Sagittarius there. And I have a ton of Sagittarius in my chart, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have the rising is different because you have to have your time of birth. So, oh, no, that's not. I don't know what the heck that was. Oh, hold on. Sorry. So I had this one already, and then I had this one. Trying to find the rising. Oh, maybe it's this one.
Yeah. So because since you're rising Capricorn.
Yeah. Well,
And Capricorn is your first house.
Capricorn. See, and that's another thing we can talk about too is houses, because I don't have a clue what that is.
Yeah.
But then you have, so this is just the one that I find when I Google natal chart. This is the one where I got it. But you can see like the energy here in my chart, which I think is, I like this because it's a good healthy balance. So I do have 6 masculine and then a 4 feminine. And then I'm mixed everywhere else too. So I got 2 cardinal, 3 fixed, and a 5 mutable. Definitely more mutable. But I mean, I am, because I have a lot of Sagittarius. But then again, I did say that I was very fiery, right? So I do have a 5 fire, 2 earth, 1 air, and 2 water, which is, it's pretty well balanced, except for that fire though. It's like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, but let's see if real quick. Oh, okay. Yeah, it doesn't. I took your address off there and all that. And if I didn't, sorry. So I just want to compare sweeties just because people in here know about her, so they can kind of see.
Now, if you're smart like I am, I can read the chart and I could almost tell you. I could tell you the time of birth and date.
Oh, really?
I could.
Okay. Don't tell me after, or tell me in the private chat or something if you can guess this, and I'll at least tell you if you're right or wrong.
Yeah.
Put in the private chat, dude, or text me.
I'll do my research and I'll look it up here. So she's got Pluto and Virgo, so we know she's older. Because her generational planet is, you and I have Pluto and Libra, so that's just one tiny little thing you could look at and tell right off the bat.
That's good, dude.
Jupiter and Scorpio. Yeah, I have Jupiter and Scorpio too, so I also know how much older she is from me because I know how long a Jupiter cycle is.
So, without saying her age, how much older is she than you?
12 years.
12 years. Okay. It's pretty good.
Give or take a few months. Obviously, she's born in August or July with Leo sun. So either between the 21st of July to the 21st of August, roughly. Moon in Leo, we know she was born under a new moon. So that's kind of cool. Yep.
Huh. Interesting. I didn't know that.
That's all I can read right off the bat with hers. But
so you can see she's got tons of Leo. So like for her, I'm Sagittarius a lot, and she's like Leo a lot. So she's got Sun, Moon, and Mercury right there at the top.
Right.
She has a Neptune Sagittarius here as well.
And if she's a rising Leo, she's got even more right there too. And
so, can you tell that she's rising Leo?
I wouldn't. I can't tell from this chart what her rising sign would be. That one's Scorpio.
This is she's a Scorpio.
Okay.
So ASC is also referred to as ascending, guys. Same thing as rising, just so you know.
So I know she was born in the afternoon.
Oh, she was?
Yep.
How can you tell that?
So Scorpio's rising, that would put Leo up in the top of the chart. Oh. So her sun's going to be up in the top of the chart. So like if you look at the sky, when the sun's up in the top of the sky, that's about noon.
Okay. Nah, juicy. Yeah, this is good, man. That's why I brought you up here, dude. Okay, so then we got this one. See, this is like the houses and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
Yep, that has the house that it's going to end up in.
We'll talk about houses next, but real quick, I want to just bring this up. So she's a 7 masculine and a 3 feminine. So she's very in her masculine energy too. And her and I have talked about this, and I know that she's, and here's the thing, guys, is energy. So when I say Sweet Tea's in her masculine energy, it doesn't mean that she's masculine. Like a lot of you guys know her. She's very feminine, right? She has, her voice is very girly. She likes to get her nails done, right? She wears makeup, like she's a girl, but she is in her masculine energy, dude. And you know what? This is just going to prove that when I keep telling you, you're in your masculine energy. But she's got, see, 2 cardinal, 5 fixed. So that would also be more evidence of, we're talking about you, sweet tea, how stubborn you are. So the fact she does have 5 fixed placements, that would mean someone would be more stubborn, right?
Could potentially be stubbornness. I mean, obviously fixed could be a bunch of other stuff too, but
kind of set in their ways.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yep. Difficult to get her to change. She may be someone that needs time to think about stuff before she's willing to make a change.
That's absolutely true. And a lot of times when her and I talk, she's like, I need some time to process this, is what she says.
Yeah. She's probably not impulsive, really. I wouldn't imagine.
No, she's not. She's not like very impulsive. I have a feeling, I think I'm a bit more impulsive. So this one's mine.
And you only have 2.
Would this read impulsive to you?
With 2 cardinal, I wouldn't think impulsive with that right off the hand. No.
Okay. So is cardinal is the impulsive one?
That the cardinal's the one that's more the initiator, that wants to get things started.
Okay.
It's open to change, and it's the one that wants to take action and project.
Okay. So let's see. Oh yeah. So pretty, not very much earth at all. And then mine was, I had 2 earth. So I mean, that's pretty similar. 1 air. And then she has 3 air actually.
Yeah.
4 fires, and I'm 5 fires. So that we're definitely very fiery together,
Right. Right. So with 3 air, she probably has a lot of logical thoughts and ideas that happen with that, and probably a little less emotional since she doesn't have quite as much water energy.
Yeah, I would say she's a little bit less emotional. She's definitely more like logical, right? Which is, again, that's a masculine trait, right? It's masculine energy, the logical, less emotional. So it's all coming together now.
Right.
All right, so let's talk about houses. So, because I don't even know. So I've heard, tarot cards say, oh, it's in your 3rd house. What the heck does that mean?
Right. Let me pull up the house page if I can find it here. Give me a second.
And Wade asked a good question. He said, Nick, I believe our true earth calendar is 13 months of 28 days. Would this affect astrology charts? April 1st is New Year on that calendar, by the way. Yeah, and he knows that's the first sign is Aries.
Right. If you were to try to add a 13 sign, like everyone will sometimes talk about, we'll talk about the sign of Ophiuchus. I think it's how it's pronounced. And I don't know. A 13 sign would just mess up the whole perfection of the 12 signs, because you have the oppositions, you have squares and trines, and everything flows and works perfect with 12. So you can't have 13.
Yeah, well, because then you would have, one of them would have to have a 4. It wouldn't be 3, right? It'd be 4 on one of them. It'd be not an even number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See if I'll hold this up so you can kind of get a look at what we're talking about here, maybe. Is that visible?
So let's see. Yeah. Okay. So the houses are around on the edge of the circle, and then in the middle. So we got, it's like traits like creativity, I think home, self. Looks like the one on the far left looks like, I thought it said MILF looking, but it doesn't. It says something landing or something, right? That's a MILF looking. 7th house, you're a MILF.
Self undoing. So yeah, obviously each house in the chart is gonna represent a different aspect of your life. Did you want to run through each house, or?
Yeah, let's run through each house.
Okay, the first house is the house of self. So that's pretty self-explanatory.
So let's do, as you're doing that. Let's see. I will pull up sweet teas here, so we can kind of so the first house
So she,
is. Go ahead.
so she's so this says actually be interesting. So this is Sweet Tea's info right here.
Yeah.
So the site you got it from, it's placing her Jupiter in the 12th house, even though she has Jupiter in Scorpio, and she's a rising Scorpio. That so.
Hold on. Let me see. Maybe I wonder if this is mixed up. I wonder if that's mine.
Yours?
Let me.
Yeah, that was your chart actually. I think.
Is this one hers then? Does that make more sense?
Let's see. That doesn't look familiar.
No. Okay.
The 9th.
Because this one's supposed to be mine. My houses. But I might have mislabeled them or something.
Mars in the Ascendant. Yeah, you have Mars in Capricorn, right?
I don't know. Let me see. Let me double check it. Is that what this is?
I think so.
Oh no. I have this one. Yeah, Mars Capricorn. Yep.
Okay, so that is your chart.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So this one is mine. So let's go back to hers. So go ahead and explain the first house again.
So yeah, the first house is the house of self. So you have Mars in your first house. So you could look at it even further and figure out what that means if you really wanted to. The first house is the house of self. It's the most personal and most powerful house in your chart, for it symbolizes you, your mannerisms, your style, your disposition, and temperament. This is the house of your outward behavior, your likes and dislikes. The first house reveals both the way you present yourself to others and the way the outside world sees you. It often indicates your physical characteristics, especially your head and facial features. Sometimes called the house of self-interest, it denotes what you want in life and how you go about achieving it. The place in your chart at which this house begins is the most important point in the horoscope, for it determines where all the other houses will follow. In astrology, the first house is thought of as a giant lens through which the rest of your chart is seen and interpreted.
Interesting. So if my first house is in Mars, does that, what did that say?
Yeah, with Mars in the first house. So let's see. Where would I look at that?
What's up, Andrew?
So if you've got Mars in the first house, it's the planet of energy and assertiveness. You are impulsive and independent and dislike taking advice from others. You approach new projects with energy and confidence and are capable of hard work. You have strong sex desires and are passionate in lovemaking. Good points. Strong body, self-assertive, courageous. Your bad points are you're inconsiderate, pushy, domineering, and accident prone.
I know Sweet Tea right now is just sitting there and she's like totally, oh my God, this guy's good. So yeah, that's definitely me to like the T. That was crazy, dude. That's like, you're going to resonate with your first house probably more than all the other houses then, right?
Probably. Yeah.
That was like a personal reading. Like you just, everything that you just said is like exactly like me. So that's, I'm not trying to be grandiose, like, oh, I'm so courageous or anything, but like, other stuff that you said too, I was like, wow.
I think that's why I like astrology, is it blows my mind how fascinating it can be, so literal and so accurate. Mm-hmm. It's just, I think that's the thing about it that I find so intriguing.
So let's go to second house.
Second house, move on to the second house, the house of possessions. So this is also known as like the money house. And
oh, you know what? Before we do that, so is this right then for Sweet Tea's Neptune for the first house?
Let me see.
You said that's not right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, so if she's a Scorpio rising and she has Jupiter in Scorpio, then Jupiter should be in her first house. But it's showing there that Jupiter is in her 12th. She has Neptune in the first house. So
Yeah. And it says Neptune ascending, I think is what it says, right?
yeah, maybe I misread her chart.
So let's read Neptune real quick.
Neptune in the second house.
You said you thought it should have been Jupiter though.
I thought she had Jupiter in Scorpio, and I thought hers was a Scorpio ascendant.
Um, she
Yeah,
has
Jupiter in
Jupiter and
Scorpio.
Scorpio. Yeah. So that would mean that would be the second house.
No, if Jupiter in Scorpio is her, if Scorpio is her rising sign, then her Jupiter would be in her first house.
Well, let's see the rising because
But that's
this is
ending
saying
her.
Neptune, right? Is rising.
Yeah, and it's saying Jupiter's in her 12th house.
And then
Do you know which site you got that from?
yeah, I got it from this one, natal chart. It's called Natal Chart Report. I don't know. It's got like cafeastrology.com.
Okay, I think that one uses a house system where it's called what is the house system called? Placidus, a Placidus house system.
So it might not be as accurate.
It's just a different house system. It's a different way of looking at it. It's some people prefer it, some people don't. I personally prefer a whole house system, whole sign house.
Okay. So let's read which one? Not this one. The other one
What?
you said where she would be
Can we read her
Jupiter.
Jupiter in the first house?
Yeah, Jupiter in the first house. Yeah.
Okay. So Jupiter in the first house, it says you have a buoyant, cheerful disposition, and you are a success socially. You inspire confidence, are optimistic, and tend to be generous with your time and energy. You're blessed with luck, and things usually turn out for the best in life. Good points: jovial, broad-minded, expansive, and kind. Bad points are self-indulgent, gullible, with a marked tendency to gain weight. You are sometimes faithless in love. So yeah, I've actually heard that a lot of people who have Jupiter in the first house are generally bigger people because Jupiter is the big planet of expansion. So it is kind of fitting.
So let's put can you read the Neptune? Or wait, is this one mine? Oh, that's mine. Hold on, my bad. Let's read. Yeah, Neptune is for the this one's saying that her first house is in Neptune. Let's read that. I want to do a comparison and see which one I think is more accurate.
Okay. So Neptune in the first house, it says you are imaginative and impressionable and can use this in artistic work. You tend to be absent-minded because you like to daydream. You are fond of luxury and are sometimes lazy. A lot of your time is spent on or near the sea. Good points: you're a visionary, idealistic, and sensitive to other people. Your bad points are you're procrastinating, changeable, weak-willed, and never satisfied.
I think that she resonates, in my opinion, more with the Neptune one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just my personal opinion, sweet tea.
Sure. And that's probably a planet she resonates with too, because she has planet or Neptune's in Scorpio in her chart, right?
She has,
Or is it in Sagittarius?
yeah, Neptune and Sagittarius.
That's crazy that it's saying that that's her rising. So is she a rising Sagittarius then?
Well, I had the thing. Let's see. It's
Yeah, I think
Scorpio. It was Scorpio rising, remember?
yeah, Placidus astrology kind of throws me off. But dude, I was using Placidus for like my first while, and it confused the heck out of me until I started using whole sign houses.
Okay. Well, that's weird that they would have like different, that they would even be different. It can't be different. It's got to be the same, right? So it seems kind of bizarre.
Whole sign basically encompasses the whole house and the whole sign is in one. So like Placidus will split it. So like part of the house will be one sign and part of the house will be another sign.
Oh, okay, got you. All right. Interesting. Let's read. So what were we on? We're on second house now?
Yep, second house.
Second house.
House of possessions. Was there a certain planet in that house we wanted to read?
So let's just go through, we'll start with mine. So second house is, what is second house? I don't see it. Is that X?
Your second house is Sagittarius, right?
Oh, is this not the right chart?
No, no, hold on. I'm picturing it wrong in my head. Sorry. I can't hardly read what that says on the screen.
See, this one doesn't have houses though. My house chart is this one right here. But I don't have a second house though on this.
Weird. Okay, so you don't have anything in your second house.
Okay, yeah. Sometimes people don't have stuff in certain houses
Yeah,
though,
and
right?
that just means there's less emphasis on that part of your life.
Okay. So Sweet Tea has also no second house. Interesting. Okay, so let's go to the third house then.
Third house, house of communication.
I don't have a third house either, according to this. Okay, let's see if she has anything. Mars.
Yeah, see, I prefer the wheel. I prefer an actual chart. To me, visually, it just makes more sense to me.
Right.
But the third house is basically your short distance travel, like, communications. And I believe the third house is ruled by Mercury, Gemini. So yeah, you think of Mercury ruling Gemini and communications, and so that's your third house. Fourth house is focused on like your home, your family. That's where you live. It's where you're so your safe place of refuge.
Okay. So let's dive into that a little bit because that sounds
Sure.
interesting. Fourth house. Which one's? I don't know Roman numerals. Which is four? Is that Ivy?
Ivy, yeah.
She doesn't have a fourth then. Okay, so no fourth for her. Let's see, mine. Oh, I have it's moon. So this is more like a home situation, you said?
Okay, so your moon's in your fourth house?
Yeah.
Okay. You want me to read what it says for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Moon, the planet of emotions and instincts. You are protective towards your family and may become a devoted parent. During your lifetime, you can expect to change residences often, and you like to live near water. During the latter part of life, you may achieve public recognition. Good point. Financial acumen in real estate or family possessions. The bad point is you resist facing up to reality.
Wow. Sweet Tea's gonna say, "I told you." I can already hear her right now. Told you so. I resonated with a lot of that. As far as the water thing, though, I've always lived out here, so I don't have never lived next to the ocean or a lake or anything like that, so I couldn't say.
Dude, the water scares me, especially oceans and stuff. Like I don't like swimming. I'm a mountain guy. I seriously love the mountains.
I'm the same because I'm fire, so I don't really like water that much. It's kind of I actually one time had a dream because dreams are really, to be honest with you, it's like more accurate of like real life than this on the 3D realm, right? Because this is a very dense
Yeah.
type of reality, this 3D reality we live in. And like, dreams are more fluid and that's more accurate. So when you're dreaming, that's why they say like DMT is like the spiritual drug or whatever, because your brain releases DMT when you're dreaming, right? When you're sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes you dream. And it's funny because I was watching these it was like a YouTube video on DMT, and there was like pictures of what people see on DMT. And one of the pictures was a reoccurring dream that I've had for years. And I don't,
Wow.
you forget your dreams. But when I saw the picture, I remember I was like, I've dreamt that exact thing right there dozens of times.
Wow.
So, so when you're dreaming, like your soul doesn't actually need to rest, your body does. So
Right.
imagine how bored your soul would be if it just had to sit there for 8 hours. Like, come on, you done yet? Let's wake up. Let's go. So, it goes to other dimensions, goes talk to your spirit guides, talks to the angels, stuff like that, kind of get your stuff together. That's also where you might, and your soul is who you are, right? So it's not like you're your body. So that's where you would maybe say, I can't do this anymore. Sometimes, you have, we can talk about this on another show too, but a walk-in souls, where if it's too difficult and the soul just decides that it can't go on anymore, it'll get approval through, you know, the spiritual leaders. And then sometimes they allow that. And usually it's while you're sleeping, and then you'll wake up, but you won't wake up. Like the new soul will wake up with all the same memories as the previous soul. And you're just, you know, now that's your consciousness. So stuff like that. And I mean, lots of stuff happens when you're dreaming. So, I don't know where I don't know. I had a point to this, but we're talking about something with dream.
Well, you actually inspired me of a quick story I can tell you that happened when I was about 13 years old. You know, when you go to sleep, you know, you never notice the moment you fall asleep. You never notice when you fall asleep. But one morning, you know, as I was, you know, I'd always have my alarm set an hour before I had to get up so I could just snooze it a bunch of times. And one morning it goes off as it always did. And I hit snooze like I always did. And as I was falling back asleep, I was so tired, yet I was hyper conscious. And I was like, I'm going to actually be aware of myself falling asleep. And sure enough, I fell asleep. I was astrally projected out of my body. It was instantly not my body the instant I went to sleep. And I was sitting there looking down at myself sleeping. And I could feel myself still in my body, but also see myself sleeping. It was kind of a weird thing to be able to have that both happen at the same time. And it kind of freaked me out because I wasn't expecting it. And it probably took about 30 or 40 seconds to wake myself up, you know, because I was paralyzed. So It was a very interesting insight.
Wow, that's crazy, dude. Yeah. So like I've heard about that too, like sleep paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
That's more of you're inside your body. So you were like out of body experience where you could see yourself, kind of like a near death experience or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
Wow, interesting.
It'd be cool to like do it intentionally, like to know like okay, I can go to this realm and I can explore it and it's safe. Right. It's not dangerous.
Right.
But
there's this, I was watching this show where they do that now. It's where you go to sleep and then they have like, you're wearing these glasses and like, as you're falling asleep, like you're hooked up to these probes and it'll know when you're about to fall asleep, and all of these little red lights, like flashing lights. So you can still kind of like reminds you, oh shoot, I'm about to fall asleep right now. So that you can go into your dream and be conscious of your dream for lucid dreaming.
Right. Lucid dreaming is cool. I was able to do that for a short period of my life, but I haven't tapped into lucid dreaming for years.
Have you ever flown in your dreams?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I would ride my skateboard and I would know I was dreaming and I would just be, okay, I'm going to do the hardest, coolest tricks I've ever wanted to do. And then just bust out the sickest lines and, just know I was dreaming. I was like, let's just have some fun with it. Why not?
Right. That's cool. A lot of times I have dreams that I'm doing something, but I'm not good at it too. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I'll have dreams that I'm playing basketball, but like I can't make any shots. I think that's had like some meanings to them too. You know what I mean? That you're struggling with something right there and there. But I have dreams that I fly a lot. But I don't fly like Superman like this. I fly like standing up. And a lot of times I'll fly and it's like no one else can fly, right? But I'm not really aware that I'm in this spiritual realm in the 5D or whatever I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so I in my mind think that I'm here on the 3D realm here, and I'm the only one that can fly. And so sometimes I think, oh, people are going to think that it's so cool that I can fly, but no one notices that I'm flying. It's like another dream. I wonder what that would mean. It's a whole nother show we could do.
That would be a cool show.
Sometimes I also have dreams too when I'm flying that I can't fly high enough. Like it just, I want to get higher, but I can't. Like I'm stuck. So I think that has to do something too with the subconscious mind that you feel stuck right now and like you're not progressing or something like that too.
Yeah. Always look at the symbolism and like what that dream personally means to you, because like someone else could look at it and give you a totally different analogy.
And it's all perspective. It matters on what is going on with your particular life at that time. Just like when you see numbers, like 1111 or 222. If you see that number specifically, what is it right at that exact moment that you're thinking about, that you're struggling with, or that you're doing good at, or whatever, and you kind of correlate the meaning, and then you can look up the meaning of the number too. Sometimes that happens. I was driving home, and I saw 6161616, or no, it was like 616161 or something like that. It was like my odometer. It was like 4. And so like I looked it up, the meaning of it, and it was sure enough, like exactly, what I've been going through right at this exact moment. You know what I mean? So
that's too cool.
Oh, look, I have myself in here. I am you and you are me together. We are we.
Sweet tea.
That must
Done?
be my social media manager right now.
Okay. Okay.
So, all right, cool. So let's go to, I think we're on fourth house now, right?
Fourth house of home and family. That's like the early part of your life.
Okay, early part. So let's see what I got in my fourth. If I have anything, I'm missing a bunch. I don't have anything in my fourth,
Hmm.
and neither does Sweet. Oh no, look, she's got two third houses. She's got Mars. Is that thing that you were talking about? She's got
Yeah.
Mars and North Node.
Okay.
So she's got two of them. So that would be like kind of like split in the middle, right? Type
Yeah.
of thing, like a cusper. That's another thing too that I want to talk about is cuspers. So, if you're born like the last day of, Sagittarius or something, then you
Mhm.
might display, some Capricorn traits too, in regards to your sun sign or something like that, right?
Right. Right. Well,
Yeah.
in general, you're gonna have all of the signs of the zodiac, but obviously, if you're on a cusp, you could definitely play into both of those signs a little bit.
Right. Yeah. Cause I mean, everyone's going to embody, like I said, all of the energy of the zodiac. It's not just, I'm just Sagittarius. You know what I mean? Even if
Right.
you don't have any placements, that energy still exists and you still embody that energy too. You just may
Right.
not embody it as often. Like, when you're a tarot card reader and they're reading for the collective and they say, um, you could be dealing with an Aries. Doesn't have to though, right? But like, you see Aries energy here. So
Mhm.
you could be dealing with an Aries, or it could just be they're in their Aries energy. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yep.
So
I mean, for my chart, for instance, if you look at my elements and modalities, I'm mostly cardinal fire, which is Aries, but I don't have anything in Aries. Aries is an empty house in my chart, but
okay.
yet I could be perceived as an Aries just because of my energy.
Right. Yeah. So what is the fourth house then? You want to just
Fourth,
describe that one?
yeah, fourth house is your home, your early parts of your life.
Okay. Did we do that one already? I thought we did home.
Yeah, we kind of did that one. We were kind of in the middle of that one.
Okay.
So
So
we'll go
let's
to
go.
fifth house.
Fifth house. Which one's five?
Five, just the V.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. Because four is Ivy, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah. So because we did moon. I was moon. And then Sweet Tea was, she have an Ivy? No, she doesn't have one. Okay, so let's do fifth then. What's fifth?
So fifth house is about creativity and sex. It's your fun
What
house.
is that? What's the Roman numerals though?
V.
It's just straight up V.
Yep.
Okay. So nothing for me. And Sweet Tea she
Nothing.
has nothing either. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
let's read what the fifth house is.
Okay. I'll read it for me since I know
Okay. Yeah.
my
Yeah.
fifth
Read
house.
yours.
So I have my fifth house is Sagittarius, and I have Uranus in Sagittarius, and I also have Neptune in Sagittarius. So I can read both of them if you want.
Yeah. Sure.
So Uranus, planet of change and originality, says you are prone to sudden infatuations, which also end abruptly. You may be engaged to marry and then break the engagement. You like novelty and experimentation in sex. Good point. You're innovative and inventive in creative expression. The bad point is may be estranged from children.
Hmm.
Neptune is the planet of spirituality and illusion. It says you love pleasure and luxury, sometimes too much. You are very drawn to the theater or cinema. You bring a fantasy quality to lovemaking. You may be involved in one or more illicit love affairs, which may cause sorrow. The good point is you have artistic talent, especially as an actress or actor. The bad point is vulnerable to loss through gambling or fraud. Wow,
Oh,
that resonated with me. I got chills because that was so much of that is spot on.
wow. So you resonate with that one more. So you might be like into the dominatrix or something like that in the bedroom or something. That's what that sounded like to me.
Kind of does sound that way, doesn't it?
Because it said, what did it say? Like sexually, what did it say? You're very like fantasy type or something like that.
Yeah, it says I bring a fantasy quality to lovemaking and may be
Yeah,
involved in one or more illicit love affairs, which
dude.
may cause sorrow,
Yeah, you juggalo, bud.
right? And playing all these ladies or something.
Okay, so then we got, so what's six in Roman numerals?
So sixth house is VI.
VI. Oh, I have an IV, but not a V. Oh, yeah, I got North Node.
And this doesn't have anything for the North Node, but
Okay.
the nodes are pretty important. Like once I started diving into the nodes, I was like, whoa, these are like, it's fated energy is where I was kind of what I think of with the nodes.
Okay. Yeah, kind of like well, what is that? There's something that's not really a planet, right? Yeah, it's a North Node. It's kind of North Node is kind of like isn't it more like karma
It's a
type of
point. Yeah,
energy?
it's just a point. When the sun and the moon are at that same point, that's when you have your eclipses.
Okay. Because North Node could reflect like past life karma. That's what I heard.
So generally the way I think of nodes is the south node is where you're familiar. It's what you've already kind of done in your past life, whereas the north node is the unfamiliar. It's kind of the direction you need to be going and the challenges you need to be taking on.
Okay.
So you need to go to your north node, but your south node is going to be comfortable and familiar. So we often go to our south node.
Okay. Because yeah, it's more familiar. All right.
Yeah.
So let's go. So we're on the 7th now.
7 or 6. Do we do 6? Yeah, 6.
6. Which one's 6?
VI.
Oh yeah, the VI. So yeah. But what is the 6th in regards to though?
So 6 is a house of service and health. So it's kind of like your day to day, the way you structure yourself, your discipline.
Okay.
You know.
All right. And then
I could read mine in that if you
yeah,
want, or one of
yeah,
yours.
let's read yours because we don't have one. So on the ones that we don't have, we'll just read yours, and then on the other
Cool.
ones, we'll read ours. Okay.
Cool. So I've got Moon in the 6th house. It's the planet of emotions and instincts. It says you may change jobs frequently until you find something that truly suits you. Unhappiness at work may affect your health adversely. You may be especially prone to stomach trouble. The good point is I'm intuitive and imaginative in work. The bad point is I'm unstable and indecisive about responsibility.
What do you think? Does that resonate?
To a degree, yeah, I can definitely see that that's definitely a challenge with me and my 6th house.
Yeah, this is crazy, dude. I'm never going to hear the end of it about the 1st house on mine because that was like spot on, dude.
Do you have Mars in the 1st house?
Yeah.
That's so powerful.
Oh, is it? It sounded powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Mars, yeah, I heard because Mars is very like, a type of planet, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, and you have
Powerful.
Mars in Capricorn, which is one of the best placements for Mars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it does really good in Capricorn. Whereas if it's in Cancer, the opposite of Capricorn, Mars does terrible in Cancer. Like you don't want Mars in Cancer.
Okay.
Which was my ex-wife, but
oh, really? Well, that's why she's your ex-wife.
and a number of other reasons, sure.
All right, so 7. What's the Roman numeral for 7?
7, VII.
VII.
Yeah, funny, I just mentioned my ex-wife because 7th house is the house of marriage and partnerships.
Okay. So I have nothing in the 7th house again, according to this one at least. And then Sweet Tea she's got Jupiter.
Jupiter.
No, VII. No, sorry, Saturn, right?
Yeah, Saturn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's hear what she has in Saturn here.
So Saturn is the planet of discipline and limitation. And in the 7th house, it says you're cautious about marriage and partnerships. You may delay getting involved until you are sure. You often marry a widow or widower or someone older than yourself. That doesn't track. If there are no opposing influences in your chart, you benefit monetarily or socially through marriage. The good point is you take commitment to another person seriously. The bad point is possible legal problems and a setback because of them.
Ooh, I'm gonna get you in trouble, Sweetie. Actually, dude, I already got her in trouble with the law. She got arrested. No, I mean, I didn't get her arrested, but being involved with me did get her arrested. From the government retaliating against her. So,
was that recently?
Yeah. Well, it was a couple years ago.
Okay. Okay.
City of Sheridan. Yeah, and I actually, Sweet Tea, just so you know, if you're in here still, talk to Milo. So I need to remind me tomorrow if you can, because I get so busy. But I need to reach out because we have till the end of this month still. So it wasn't like I said it was, because we need to file a lawsuit. We're filing a lawsuit for malicious prosecution against Sheridan for what they did to her. So
Good.
okay, so we got eighth house then.
Eighth
So
house, the house of death and regeneration, also the house of legacies.
okay, and what's the Roman numeral for that?
V with 3 eyes.
V, 3 eyes. I don't have anything in these houses. Okay, so nothing
I
on
don't
that
either.
one. Oh, she's got Venus.
Venus. So Venus, the planet of love and pleasure, says you are intense about sexual involvements and look for fulfillment in them. You are likely to inherit money from a loved one or a marriage partner, or to gain from the career advancement of someone who loves you. Circumstances surrounding your death promise to be peaceful. Good point. Sexual relationships tend to be harmonious. Bad point. Laxness and reluctance to handle responsibilities.
And it's not always going to resonate because she's very responsible though too. So I don't know if that definitely doesn't resonate.
Sure.
So okay, and now we're on the 8th
or 9th now.
Oh, we're on 9th. That was 8. Okay, so what's 9?
What is 9? Is that IX?
I don't know.
I think it's IX.
IX is Pluto for me.
Pluto. Okay, so the 9th house of mental exploration. This is the spiritual house. This is the house of long distance travels. And
okay.
You said Pluto?
Yep.
The planet of transformation says you have an urge to discover the truth and perhaps change things for the better. You take an intense interest in other cultures and in different religions and philosophies. Travel and foreign people may affect you deeply. The good point is it's a desire for deeper understanding. The bad point is you try to impose your views on others.
Well, I definitely was resonating with that when it says, that I want to try to change things or something like that, and paraphrasing something like that.
Yeah.
Impose my views on others. I don't know if I really want to do that, because I do, believe in the non-aggression principle. So I want everything to be voluntary, but maybe I am very passionate though about my beliefs.
Well, it comes back to how you use your planet. If you use your planet in a poor way, then you're going to use it in that way. So,
okay.
Yep. Right. All comes down to how you use it.
Dude, you got a book for everything, bro.
I do. I do.
Okay. So, you said what was it? Hers is, this one's hers. What was it again?
She's got Mercury and Moon.
Yeah, she's got 2, Mercury and Moon.
Okay. Let's do both of those. We'll start with Moon. It says you have a receptive, imaginative, and a mind capable of delving into philosophical ideas. You are attracted by the unknown. In your work, you may delve into history or the past. At some time in your career, you are likely to benefit from in-laws or relatives of the person you marry. Good point. You will have happy experiences on voyages or travel. Bad point. Tendency to be vague, dreamy, and impractical. So we'll go to Mercury, is the planet of the mind. It says you are alert and adaptable, quick to establish rapport with new people. Yours is an exploratory nature, interested in gaining further knowledge. During your middle years, you may travel a great deal, both for health and your work. Good point, mentally advanced. Bad point, inclined to be meddlesome and to make promises too readily.
I don't know. Let her decide on that one. Can't really tell. Okay, so what are we on? 9th now?
10th now. So
or 10th? Okay.
10th is what? X?
I don't know. I don't know any Roman numerals. I have nothing for X. Let's see. And she has Pluto. Oh, she's got 2. She's got Pluto and Uranus.
Okay.
And Lilith. So that's too many. We'll just read one. Let's read Pluto, because that was the first one I said.
All right. Pluto in the 10th house. It says your intense personality makes its mark in career matters. You usually have a flair for business and a knowledge of how to elicit support from others. During your lifetime, you are likely to achieve a position of power and independence. Good point. Forceful and dynamic energy. Bad point. Subject to unforeseen twists of fate with loss of prestige.
Interesting. Okay. 11th. There's 12
11.
houses, right?
What's that?
How many houses are there? 12?
12.
Okay. So on the 12th house.
So it's XI.
XI. I got 2.
Venus
So
and Mercury.
we'll just read. I actually got 3 and Sun.
Ooh. Wait, and Uranus.
Oh man, I got tons. Wow.
Wait. Are you sure that's your chart?
Yeah, it's my chart.
Oh, yeah, it is. Huh.
1, 2, 3. So I have 4 placements. Crazy. I'm gonna have to. You should send me like a picture of these. We're not gonna read them all here, but let's read the Sun. I think that Sun's most powerful. I think, right?
Yeah. Sun is definitely a big one.
Okay, let's read that one.
Sun in the 11th house.
Yeah. Or are
So
we in 11th or 10th?
we're on 11th now.
Okay.
So the Sun is the planet of vitality and individuality. You're socially popular, able to attract and keep friends. You usually benefit through their faith and support. You have high goals in life and an optimism that wins others to your cause. Good point, idealistic and creative. The bad point, a tendency to be domineering with others.
Yeah, that's definitely me.
That resonates for sure.
And I can say that I can be domineering with others too. I know Sweet Tea will say the same. But there was what was the one that you said? Can you read that again? Just towards the end, you said something that I forgot. It was very resonating.
It says you usually benefit through their faith and support. You have high goals in life and an optimism that wins others to your cause.
Yes, I think that's definitely resonates with me because I feel like I am very optimistic, and it kind of rubs off on people. Like, being positive, optimistic, it rubs off. And I always try to look at things on the, the glass half full type of thing. Yeah, I mean, not always, but you can't always choose your circumstances, right? But you can always choose the way you respond to them. So you always have a choice, right? So even if somebody pulls a gun on you and, have it to your head and they're going to blow your head off, right? Well, I don't have a choice in that. Well, yeah, you don't have a choice, but you have a choice whether you close your eyes, right? Like you always have a choice of how you can respond to it, right? That's your choice. So, okay. So last house, 12th.
The last house, but not the least house. This is the house of secrets, sorrows, self-undoing. It's the house of like prisons, mental asylums. It's a very mysterious house where a lot of taboos, and it's kind of a scary house. It's a house of enemies and stuff. So,
What number is that one?
That one is XII.
XII. So I have none. Oh no, I do. I got Neptune.
And I think Sweet Tea had Jupiter. It was putting Jupiter in her 12th house.
Yeah, she has Jupiter.
So may I read it for Jupiter and what else? Saturn?
Jupiter and Saturn. Let's go Sweet Tea ladies first. Let's go Jupiter first.
Okay. Jupiter first in the 12th house. It's the planet of luck and expansion. You lean towards the spiritual or have an uplifting religious or philosophical faith. Your success in work helps or benefits others, and you are most attracted to medicine or social work. You also have a gift for producing inspired thoughts in seclusion. Good point, a compassionate and charitable nature. Bad point, impractical, you rely on others too much.
I can see that. She is very generous. What was the good points that you said again?
Good points, compassionate and charitable in nature.
Yes. She's very compassionate. She's very charitable. Absolutely. That's one of an extreme good quality that she does have. And then the negative was
rely on others too much.
Yeah. And I can see that too.
And her social work, her 1A activism, that fits right in there too.
Yeah. And she gets burned sometimes too from doing that, relying on others sometimes.
Right.
Okay, so mine was, what was mine? Venus? No, what was it?
Neptune?
Oh yeah, XII, Neptune, right?
Neptune. So for you, the planet of spirituality and illusion, you're deep and sensitive and likely to possess a strong artistic bent. You prefer to work and live in a quiet atmosphere where you can create or meditate. There may be a mysterious or otherworldly quality to your personality. The good point is you're kind and helpful towards others. The bad point, you're afraid of life or harsh experiences.
Hmm. Afraid of life?
Yeah, it says afraid of life or harsh experiences.
Huh.
Which I think of you like getting arrested and going to jail, like that's harsh. But I don't think you were afraid of that. I think
Right.
you were pretty courageous with taking that
Well,
on.
I'm still afraid of it. But
Sure.
like, you know, but courage isn't the lack of fear. It's feeling the fear and doing it anyways. So
Hmm.
yeah, I do. I say that I resonate with that. I do have kind of get scared of life. You know what I mean? Honestly, um, because I've had a lot of, you know, duality. I've had a lot of bad, I mean, in my life. So as a light worker, you know, light workers have terrible childhoods because all of that stuff is preparing you. Remember, all the growth
Right.
happens when during the bad times. So all of this, everything that I went through in my life, real quick, not to make, you know, the empirical miracle show here, but like for my activism, right? Without my, because I had probably, I'm not looking for sympathy, but you know, it's true. I had probably the worst childhood of any other kid that I've known. You know, it was like a nightmare, a living nightmare, right? But it caused me to, you know, be the person that I am. It caused me to rebel, right? And, you know, not really want to have respect authority type of situation, right? And so, you know, a lot of the people that don't like what we do say, "Oh yeah, all these activists, you know, they're felons and this and that." And I was like, "Yeah, that's true," but you know, like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, I mean, they were treasonous, dude. They were they were committing treason, right? So, you know, it's a very American thing to do. But without all of that, me getting in trouble and stuff like that, I would never be doing what I'm doing. So it's, you know, it prepared me for this. So interesting. Well, dude, I mean, that was pretty good, bro.
Yeah,
I
that was a
liked,
quick 2 hours.
yeah, it was. It went by quickly. And I liked a lot. I got a lot of information from you, like on the houses and stuff like that, because I didn't really wasn't quite sure about what that was. But I'd like to do this again, dude, because I feel like we could keep talking about a whole bunch of other stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, we definitely
So
could. Like I didn't even get to talk about like premonitions and other stuff like that.
okay, so let's do that. So we'll do for the next show, we'll do premonitions. Just take my notes while I have them, and then I
Right.
think dreams would be a good one.
That'd be a good one.
Do premonitions and dreams because those kind of go together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to tell you about a dream, but I'll save it for that one.
Okay, yeah, I'll save it for that. And so I think cool, man, dude. I mean, if you had a good time, I had a good time. We could make a series of this, dude. This could be episode 1, and then we'll just do a bunch of episodes on this thing.
Right? Watch the Empirical Miracle channel just take off now.
I hope that would be nice, but we'll see. All right. Anything that you wanted to closing statements or anything like that?
Yeah, let me just read my small bit of notes that I wrote down beforehand, and
Yeah,
then I'll
sure.
give a few shout outs to some resources and podcasts that I think are definitely helpful if you want to learn more about astrology. So obviously everything is connected. We're all interconnected, and astrology is one small piece of the big puzzle of reality. And you are your chart. Like the entire natal chart is embodied within you. It's like a blueprint. Like you can get into human design and all these other things that can tell us more too. We each have our own unique way of expressing our energy and experiencing our reality, and astrology is just one piece of that puzzle that kind of explains that. Um, the podcast I think would be one of the best to start with is a podcast called Moon Matters. It's I found it on Spotify. I forgot the name of her. I forgot her name, but they're very short, and she goes through them like one at a time. Like she'll cover the first house, and then she talks about the second house on the next episode, and then the third house. And she's really fun, and she explains it in such a simple way, like even a child can understand it. The astrology podcast with Chris Brennan is amazing. It's a little more advanced. You definitely have to kind of know a thing or two about what they're talking about. They'll use words that that'll go over your head if you haven't covered the basics first. Serious Joy with Christopher Witecki is amazing. He uses numbers. He integrates a step system where, depending on which degree the planet is in the sign, it has an extra bit of information he can relate. Let's see, we got Molly McCord is an amazing astrologer. She's very intuitive and is able to express herself in ways that just it blows my mind how accurate she is with her astrology forecasts. Adam Ellenboss with Nightlight Astrology is a great guy to listen to. He's very spiritual. He's easy to listen to and learn from him. He's got great stories. Rick Merlin Levine, he's an older guy. He's from, I think he was born in the either the late 30s or early 40s. So he's an older generation. So he's a little dry sometimes, but I think, you know, his level of astrology is just expert. And then the last but not least is an astrologer called Heather Ensworth, and she is someone that I like listening to because her voice is very soothing. She is just on point with her astrology too. So that's about it. Obviously, we covered those two websites too, where you can get your natal charts at alabe.com or astroseek.com.
Yeah, and that's the one that you want to use because the one I was using is a little bit funky. So
Yeah.
I'll check that one out too. I'll check those out and pull natal chart, see what the difference is. So all right, cool, man. Yeah, it's a good information. I learned a lot from you. I was taking my notes the whole time so that I can, and I'm going to go back and rewatch this whole episode right now anyway, so I can take
Dude, this is the funnest part of astrology is when you take your own chart and then you're able to dissect it and analyze it yourself because you know yourself better than anyone. And then after you learn that part of astrology, start taking, you know, your partners, your parents, your siblings, your friends. And then when you start incorporating their charts and seeing how it works in their life, that's when astrology will really, really start to make sense.
All the puzzles start coming together, you know what I mean? And it's creating the picture. Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. All right, cool, man. Oh, and real quick, that was effing reality. That was on the 2.0 channel, and I should have known too because he put some cactuses up here. Phone Losers of America. All right, it's cool. Thanks for coming in, guys. Appreciate. Do you have anything that you wanted to plug personal wise? Like, you know, do you have any social medias you want to plug?
I really don't do anything. I'm just a regular guy. I haven't busted out my social media too much. I'm on a few YouTube videos. If you want to check out some skateboarding clips of mine, you can go to my buddy Everett Aguilar's channel. It's just Everett Aguilar, and he's got a ton of skateboarding videos. I've got a few tricks in there, but
okay, cool. Yeah, I know you're a good skateboarder, dude. I've already seen one of your videos. So
yeah, I showed you my best tricks, so
yep.
I made myself look good.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys, for coming in. Everyone have a great rest of your evening, and love and light. And remember, guys, at the end of the day, it's night.